We're missing two. I know Kirk tried to make it, he said around 9:30 or so, but let's open up at 9:05, and I'm gonna call it to order and ask for Director Waddle to give us his indication.
Well, please, Price, Mr. Father, thank you for this blessing. Thank you for the multitudes of blessings you bestowed on each of us. We ask you to be with us today, Lord, and comfort those who are having multitude of issues in their lives. You comfort them, guide us as a board of directors here to enhance the economic result of our city. Be with us in our deliberations. We ask you to be with those who are serving in harm's way today, our military and our first responders. We again thank you for the multitudes of blessings that you place on each of us. We ask these in your name.
Amen. Thank you. Our next item is the consent agenda. Items are listed on the consent agenda by the DEC Chief Executive Officer and are recommended to the DEC Board of Directors for a single vote of approval. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda for a separate vote at the request of a board director. First item, consideration and approval of the January 28, 2019 board meeting minutes.
I'll move for approval.
We just do them all at one time.
Yeah, we'll do them all. Okay.
We'll read them all,
Okay.
do it all at a time.
Yeah. Okay, consider approval of the February 11, 2019 board meeting minutes. Consideration and approval of the December 31st, 2018 income and expenses. Consideration and approval to advertise the Dallas Regional Chamber's Economic Development Guide discussed during the DEDC board meeting held on February 11, 2019 with a cost reduction from the amount of $20,000 down to the amount of $5,000. Pleasure, Lord.
I'll move for approval of consent agenda.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Director Waddle, second by Director Jordan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it unanimously. Moving on to the next item, the C is the regular agenda, new business, items for consideration and or possible action. Number one is the City Council liaison update regarding city events, meetings, etc. by the Honorable Rachel Proctor, Mayor Pro Tem.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I just have a few announcements about some events that are happening in and around the city. And the first one is just a reminder of this Saturday's event celebrating the 70th birthday of the city's incorporation, which will be Saturday, March 2nd at 10 a.m. and it's going to take place here at City Hall. I believe the incubator tenants are hosting some additional events.
Yeah, from 1 to 4.
From 1 to 4 that same day, to kind of piggyback off of the celebration that the city is having. Also, we have something very unique that is going to be coming up, and it's from our school district. And it's going to be their documentary, and it's entitled "How Did We Get Here?" And it's, again, this is part 1 of the documentary. And so the date and the time for that particular event is March 8th at 7 p.m. We'll also have a Black History program tomorrow here at the Corner Theater, and that starts at 10 a.m. And also, I want to remind everybody about the First Responders Luncheon, which will take place on March 6th at 11 a.m. at Charlton Methodist, and you can actually contact the chamber if you'd like to attend. Joe, I'm not sure if they've passed that information to pass it on to your board, but if they'd like to attend, they can contact the chamber.
Yeah, they did, and we are polling the board this time to see if we need a table or not.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it, Mayor?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, sir.
Thank you. Item 2, Rhoda Incubator finish out a financial status report presentation by Monty Anderson, Options Real Estate. Is he here today?
No, he couldn't make it. I think he's out of town today, so we didn't know that till
Okay.
Friday.
We'll skip that one. Item 3, consideration and action to approve advertising in the Best Southwest publication with the DeSoto Independent School District and the DeSoto Chamber of Commerce. Presentation by Matt McWhorter, if I pronounced that correctly, and Executive Integrated Media Manager, Livability Media.
Yes, sir.
Or you have last year's publication in front of you, the color there, and We did, if you open up the first page and it flips out, we did that 3-page spread basically last year. And this is a joint project between the school district and the chamber and the city. But we put in quite a bit of it. But Matt's here to kind of walk us through what it is and how we might be able to advertise and if you want to. I'll just turn it over to Matt.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate the opportunity to come in and visit with everybody today and review what we're doing to help promote the best Southwest region and DeSoto in particular in regards to the next edition. We've been working in the Best Southwest area as the main sponsoring organization, the Best Southwest Partnership now for the last 5 years. And what we do is we promote not only to a regional, statewide, national, and global audience, the live, work, play, and also invest economically no matter what company size you are. And we've been very successful in relating that type of content message out to that particular national, global audience. Livability Media, we were originally founded over 30 years ago by 2 Pulitzer Prize winners. One you might be very familiar with is Alex Haley, who was the Pulitzer Prize winning writer of Roots. And Alex put together this program to help promote communities and regions all across the United States because he found that the local medias concentrate so much on the negative aspect of the communities. And what we do is we focus on the positive. So Alex put together a motto within our company, and it's find the good and praise it. And we've been very blessed to do that within the Best Southwest region. And DeSoto being one of the 4 foundation partners of the Best Southwest regions, the history behind the organization is the 4 mayors came together and formed this important organization to promote the economics and also quality of life amenities of the region. And I wanted to show you some of the related online platforms to give you an idea of the type of online activity and promotion that we do, not only within the print media. This is your all's publication. You know, this is the Best Southwest area. This isn't Dallas. This isn't, the state of Texas. This is your publication. And if you all know Amanda Skinner, she's the current, I guess you call administrative assistant since Joe Johnson retired. And she's going to be working with our content editor, developing all this great content. But I've also talked to Matt and talked to some of the other related partners in regards to this ad placement sponsorship opportunity to present your own message. And I even had a chance to meet with Mayor McCown, and she expressed some interest in different related placements that I shared within your investment packets. One of them being the 8-page sponsored content section that she mentioned that when she goes to these other related mayor meetings all across, not only the state but the U.S., she liked to have that idea of having a standalone piece that she can leave and really promote her city. And with this new celebration coming in place for the 70th birthday, we're at a great time to really, use us as a national, global, statewide platform to present this message. This is the particular website, the Livability website, that demonstrates the 11 community partners involved with the Best Southwest area. You can actually go to each individual city page, and I'll show you the DeSoto page in a minute. We currently have over 50,000 annual visitors to this website. It's a very high traffic website. The digital publication, the magazine you see over to the right, we have 120,000 annual readers of that publication. Our national audience has now reached 11 million people with 30 million page views. So we've been very successful. If you go to Google right now and you type in "move to DeSoto, Texas," our Livability DeSoto website that we're looking at right now will be the first line item in that Google search when you type in "move to DeSoto, Texas." Is because we've done a lot of search engine optimization to really drive traffic to our sites. And you can see up the top, that's the online linking display ad placement that was placed in last year's edition that came with the print publication placement. And that's a direct link to whatever URL. So we can direct link back to these different organizational websites to bring in some great extra information to this audience of people that are looking to move to DeSoto, companies looking at moving to DeSoto, also visitors is a big part of it. As you can see, our topics are related to things to do, real estate, business, schools, health, and we have a photo gallery. And we've often even offered the opportunity to enhance this DeSoto website with more content, particularly on what the city and all the other partners want, you know, within the online actual content for the publication. We also showcase on Literally Texas, this particular site has 2 million annual visitors to the Texas site. So we provide information on our featured cities, which we're very proud to say that DeSoto is one of those featured cities. Over to the left column. And you'll see a lot of even your community partners that want a statewide presence on the Literally Texas site, and on all the other city websites. Methodist Charlton has a placement here. And all this great content is what's driving traffic. That's very important to the program, and we appreciate you all being a previous sponsor of this important initiative. You know, this is about your community. It's not Dallas, it's not the state of Texas. So we're very proud to have the opportunity to do so. And I hope that you definitely see that your return on your investment is definitely connecting to the type of audience you want to be able to promote DeSoto. And we look forward to the opportunity of helping you in the near future in regards. We're currently working on the next edition. That's why I'm in the area working with the different, and the renewal placement that we've had for the other communities has been phenomenal. Alvilla's back on board, Cedar Hill's back on board for the next edition. So we look forward to being a great partner of yours and promoting the great aspects of the live, learn, work, play, and invest in DeSoto, Texas. Would anybody have any questions or anything that I could answer?
I do have a couple of questions. One is, do you have a testimonial that you can share of an ROI type testimonial from maybe not DeSoto or something?
Oh, definitely. We have a complete different library of that type of testimonial information we could share. Oh, definitely. And we're working all together about 180 different communities across the United States. I personally even worked with the Governor's Office of Texas on the Texas White Up for Business Economic Development publication that we did when we were under contract with the Governor's Office back about 4 or 5 years ago. Yes, definitely I can provide you some testimonial information.
And I'm sure you said this, what is the cadence of the publication?
As far as the distribution, it's an annual publication. The next edition will be published in July of this year, and it has a distribution life, you know, within that 1 year. And we direct mail this publication when it's published to site selectors, organization consultants, corporate level executives. We're tracking fast growth tech companies, fast growth manufacturing companies, and direct mailing it to those related decision makers for economic development purposes, of course. And then it's widely distributed by the city governments, the economic development organizations, including their information packets, the Chamber of Commerce, the visitors bureaus, and so it's top employers. We even have Methodist Charlton Talent Recruitment. They can provide the publication to doctors, nurses that are looking at, you know, working at the hospital, and we're also doing that for the ISDs. Lancaster ISD uses the publication to recruit, you know, teachers, administrative, you know, staff. So it's become a very well-used publication within the communities.
Okay.
And full distribution, ballpark figure, the number that you put out there.
Oh, yes, sir. We'll publish 12,000 copies of it. And then also the advertisers use it to promote the digital magazines So with the digital magazine, you know, that'll add an extra 120,000 eyes seeing that throughout the year.
Last year, we did a three-page spread. We discussed it kind of among some of the partners. City was a very small player last year. They didn't have much money budgeted for it. If they use a tourism component in their portion, they can use up the occupancy tax, and that can address that.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge is we were doing it on a shared basis, and the city was a smaller partner in the process, so the money that we put forward really was not, you know, that much of an issue, and there was some return for it. It is a positive. What we have this year is some changes at the chamber, who picked up a lot of the money before, so if there's any expenses from the chamber, we have to figure out, is that coming from the chamber, or is that coming from us or not? School district was gonna be a player in this. They weren't able to take part in the initial meeting, and I don't know if, you know, where they stand on it. So the question is, you know, what are the and what Joe alluded to, I guess we call it the hot fund or something.
Up the occupancy tax.
We would have some available funds if it was able to be tied into putting, I guess the phrase is heads into beds. If it's something that promotes tourism. If it's something that's promoting business, which, you know, could be a great thing for DeSoto and, you know, gives Joe a lot of sleepless nights trying to do it, then that may not fall under it, but what Matt had referenced is, I think maybe this is the digital thing, if it's tied into tourism, if there's a tourist message, even if it's not entirely a tourist item, that might provide the source. So I guess my whole long and short is, if money is not an issue, it's a very strong positive. If it is, we have to figure out what aspect we could come in on and who's picking up and how it's gonna be shared. Because last year, it's sort of like going to dinner. Last year, we kicked in on a bill and, you know, we shared it. I don't know if we're gonna be having more of the bill this year percentage-wise, and, you know, that's something we should look at, but it is very interesting. It is a way to promote the city, and so I'm definitely gonna look at it. I think just identifying funding and to what commitment we're ready to make is our biggest challenge from my perspective. But yeah, if it could be tied to promoting tourism, there could be more available funding.
These are actually some examples I wanted to show you that related to those standalone pieces that we would actually implement into the publication. It would actually be becoming a part of the next edition. This is a piece that the mayor had interest in, so it would act as a pull-out piece within the next edition. This is Jackson, Mississippi, a piece that we did for their mayor's office. So if you wanted to pass that around, and it showcases all those different related aspects of the live, work, play. That way they implemented in all those different partners into having that one piece and had it funded throughout those different organizations. And this is a separate piece that we worked with Southern Idaho on just a specific tourism piece. So we're also the same publisher that publishes the Tennessee Vacation Guide and also the Nashville Visitors Guide, where Nashville is our home base. We're actually where I live, but yeah, I'm also a native Texan, so you know, we lived here in the Metroplex for many years.
Just in informal talking among ourselves, we had 3 pages last year. I was kind of suggesting cutting it back to 2 because funding issues with Chamber of Commerce, city's unsure. I can bring this back to you next month if you like. I know it's getting close on this deadline.
What is your deadline?
We're currently, in the next 2 weeks, I'll be in the market before I have to head on to another project, but we're still able to take related orders or securements related to this project up until the end of March timeframe.
Matt, you mentioned return. What do you mean? What kind of return do you see by it? Well, first of all, let me go back. Joe, what amount of money did we spend on this from our side? What is the combined number?
It was a total, I think, of $4,000.
Total?
Yeah.
Just our portion or just?
Yeah, just your portion, yeah, and then the others, you know, got together and funded the whole
I
thing.
wanna say the city didn't kick in the, what,
Just
$500?
$1,000,
Oh,
I think it was.
They just didn't have money budget. Did you have, what was the circulation again?
We print 12,000 copies and an online aspect
Did
to it.
they go where? What's
They're direct mail to the economic development wise, the site selectors, the relocation consultants, the corporate level executives that we're tracking. So it's direct mail right to the economic development offices, you know, as far as the type of contacts you want to get in front of. The new companies inquiring about moving in the area. So that's a big part of the actual targeted distribution. It's not a publication you're gonna see out in front of Walmart. It's very targeted distribution.
So your return, my return question.
And I want to make sure I choose my words. It's a positive. In terms of return, Matt will have to justify, you know, what numbers he has. I think anything that puts DeSoto on the map could be a positive. For us, we put a very small amount into it last time. I don't know if that's going to be the case this time around. You know, if we do it, we might have to figure out who's paying what shares of it. But it is a, you know, potentially positive thing. Here's one angle. Now, keep in mind, from what I gather from Matt's description, this is a little like a pizza. You can order a very basic thing, but every time you add an ingredient, the cost goes up. And one ingredient might lean towards one of the branches. It might be more towards economic development. Or it might be more towards just promoting the city. They publish nationally, so they will have California publications that go to certain areas in there. And I'm not the economic development expert. I just know that there's a lot of California companies leaving California and looking for places in Texas. So theoretically, it could help you try to pick off some of these companies or to appeal to some of these companies if indeed they're the readership. And I would leave that to Matt to justify. It seems like a positive publication with a good circulation, but in terms of who's gonna actually see it and how do you quantify or what comes here, I don't know that. I'm just saying in a general sense of putting a good face on DeSoto, it helps that the best Southwest cities are involved in the process to a certain extent.
How do you track
They're
it?
all involved.
How do you track it, Matt?
How do we track as
Okay,
far as
for-
the,
Yeah, is there any, how did I get a return on this? I put $4,000.
we're looking at it right now.
That's, okay, so did that ever turn into?
This actually funded, yeah, as far as, being able, you can track the online display ads, set up Google Analytics on the online display ads like the one at top. So when they're clicked on, you can see what traffic and who is actually clicking through to your online display ads. But as far as the actual investment that you all have always been a part of this program as one of the 4 foundation cities, your investment, or your return on your investment has been this content. You know, we're looking at the DeSoto livability page. That basically has been out of your support, your investment in previous editions. And we're developing that content yearly, and the more content you get on basically your own, like DeSoto livability page, it drives more traffic. Because if you go into Google, and I can show you real quick, that's another return on your investment. So if you go into Google and you type in move to DeSoto.
Is that the only thing that gets?
Yeah, the only key phrase.
Look at that.
But if there are different phrases entered, something about DeSoto, Texas, or livable or affordable cities, will that come up too? And can you do anything with those search engines where if someone's looking for something unrelated to this, can you drive traffic to it without those specific words? Meaning, can you do anything that would help link people to anything DeSoto has up?
Yeah, by developing that content, definitely. On the Livability DeSoto website.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I just, look, I was in the position of looking up DeSoto, Texas when I applied for a job here. I didn't know very much about it. I know what I saw video-wise online on YouTube wasn't necessarily great, but I found a lot of written material. If someone else is in a similar position, is there anything that you can do to drive them, not just to your website, but to encourage people to look up on DeSoto? Is there anything that you can do with the search engines that would draw people?
Oh, definitely. Just by putting in those key searches, you're ready to relocate, move to, things to do, schools, you're gonna see that livability website for DeSoto show up in those searches.
But not right now.
Oh yeah, this is live.
Oh, but I'm just saying right now, we can be able to see that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not in right now.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
Hey, Mayor, I got a question for the mayor pro tem, please.
Kind of going back to Perry's question about the click-throughs, like, I get it that, you know, there's multiple people clicking on the link, but again, the next question would be what's the relevancy of it though, to the people that are clicking through? So like, how relevant, you could get 1 million people to click through, but if it's not relevant to them, then it doesn't necessarily give a return. So is there any way that you can, to see how relevant it is for the people that are being driven to our pages?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Let me share with you. So as a publisher, you have to put out relevant content or you're not gonna get traffic, especially by looking at page views. Because somebody can go to a landing page of a website and not see anything that they're really interested in. Well, we have 11 million annual, visits to all of our livability websites. Every city, every state has its own livability website. But if you have 30 million page views, that means that they're actually looking through, clicking through, reading the content. And that's also true for those Best Southwest city websites.
So I would imagine as part of analytics, you're able to see how long they stay on our page.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Do
we
you
average.
know that average
Oh,
number
yeah.
as far as how long they're?
Oh, definitely, yeah. We average right about 2.5 minutes per visit. So, and it's all together right around 5, 6 different pages per visit. The DeSoto website of all the major Best Southwest cities, you are currently #1 within those searches because if you go to Livability DeSoto and all those other, we already have content out there about DeSoto, very positive content. And that's what we're wanting to update and provide exactly what the type of content you all want out there on your Livability DeSoto website to drive that type of traffic. So this is something totally different from just a regular magazine type publication. We're helping you develop the customized content that you all want out there about your cities, already from a very high traffic related multimedia program. So it's very unique.
Everything's hot linked, our ad will have links back to, if somebody's interested in the school system or the chamber or the city, it's all hot linked back, so it's, drives right back to our website. But we'd like, for full disclosure, this is a fundraiser for Best Southwest organization, the partnership, so this is one of the things they do to keep the doors open.
Revenue sharing for them, so.
Well, it's a great publication.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
I like it. If I got this, if you sent this to me, I'm gonna look at it.
Thank you.
There's a lot of this stuff that goes to trash back real quick.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great publication. We talked about, the city of this. You mentioned the DMX, that's what heads and beds. When we have a big DMX event, Serial talks about Short Blue Lake. That's a big event. People coming in and going and all that. So I think, to me, with a publication like this, if you're not at the table, you're not playing. And so, I get this, whoever gets this, I can find out a lot about Best Southwest pretty quick. And if I'm interested in doing something Best Southwest, regardless of where that may be, it's a partnership. And that's the way it has to work.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah,
see.
so long as it's getting in the right hands.
That's right.
If it's,
Of course, there's no guarantees, but you gotta go with it, you get it in the right hands. Y'all got enough experience, what to do.
Oh, definitely. That's what we do is, and that's why our traffic numbers have been so high. I mean, you don't develop an audience of 30 million page views because you're not putting out the right content. And one of the things that we're doing is developing that content. A lot of communities out there, they're trying to attract, the entrepreneurs the young talent into their areas. In the current edition, we have a story about your incubator, where Monty provided quotes. And all of that was helped funded by, your investment within the program. But we're developing our content because a lot of the communities right now are wanting that new attraction of talent for their employers. Because their employers are screaming, we can't get enough good talent, and we're really being concerned about it because it's not gonna help the companies grow. So we're developing our content around not only the economic development aspect, but also the attraction of talent, new blood into these communities like yours. So we find out what their emotional affordability of the community, the quality of life amenities of that community. So our content is being developed around, getting that message out there.
The problem what we have right now is that we don't know how, the other players, how much they're kicking in. I hate bringing things to you like this, but we don't have those.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the ask right now.
Yeah,
You don't have the ask.
If y'all wanna give me a range of how much you think you'd like to invest, or.
What would two pages represent? When you last year did 3 pages, we put 4,000 on our side, the city put 1,000, and I don't know what the governor did. So when we reduced to 2 pages, what's that ask?
So let me give you an idea. Every year going into the next year, you will have a right to first refusal. Right now, you've got the most key placement within the publication, this front gatefold. So you're the first community basically shown within the publication. And then it goes in, and you have right to first refusal over this placement. So that's really kind of the goal, because before I open this up to Lancaster, who is looking at it right now, making a big impact into the next edition, because they basically didn't have much of an input. Mayor Hairston really wants to promote his message out there for economic development, quality of life. So really my goal is to find out if this front cover gatefold is something you all want to keep, or if you want to look at that standalone, like Jackson, like the mayor had some interest in. So it's really all based off of what I made a recommendation in your packets would be for the total ask related to the front cover gatefold would be $5,500. That would also cost the expense of having your own online display ad like we looked at from the previous website. It would look like this. And that would allow you to have your own independent economic development leaderboard placement at the top that would link through to the economic development, the City of DeSoto Economic Development website. So.
And I should just sort of jump in now. I had talked to the mayor when you would come in initially about the pullout thing. She's not saying, I want this.
No.
What she's saying is, I want something, and it doesn't have to be from this source. I want something that I can hand to another city when I do it.
Yeah.
This would accomplish that, but she's not endorsing that specifically. I just want to say that.
Yeah, the Jackson, Mississippi that you looked at.
I think she saw that as something that could be used for that purpose. Joe has something that could be developed for it too, and then that comes down to cost effectiveness. So I know that she pretty much said, while she's interested in this, because she qualified it, she has to abide by what the city manager's office and we determine in terms of our needs and our costs.
Yeah, it's just
So
saying she had
it's not a formal endorsement, but she showed interest in something promoting the city. And I think if she were here, she probably would say something similar to that, because she did qualify it. So the thought is, what can we do to, from our angle, what can we do to promote DeSoto with people? And that's the whole question as to who do you reach, and will it have the desired effect? And the magazine and the digital presence, those are separate, or if you?
It's all included in that total ask in regards to in your packets. The front cover gatefold, and then I also provided a second option B related to the sponsored content section. And it's either or, either option A or option B.
5,500 for 3 pages?
Yeah, well, you would be one of the partners of the 3 pages,
Of the
yes,
3
sir.
pages.
But that's not 5,500 divided by 4 or.
No,
whatever.
that's each,
that's
as
just one
it's
share
notated,
of it.
each, yeah,
And we'd have
within
to-
your
And
proposal.
we'd have to determine the other, you know, who's able to put up money from it.
Yeah,
Is
and
that
there,
safe?
and there's not much of a difference when you get 4 partners involved, between, in 8 pages of content versus 3.
So,
And,
so Matt, you're saying $5,500 just from the EDC, so that does not include anything the city may give, and it does not include anything the district or the chamber may give?
yes, that's correct.
And so what did that first, get in these first pages here, because I'm sure that this is premium space, so did
Oh,
this
from
cost
the
us more than what it is?
publication,
What
definitely.
did this cost us?
Yeah, this,
We did 4,000, and the city
Yes.
did 1,000, and then what did chamber do?
the chamber did, it was right around 3,300, and ISD did it right around 4,500 last year.
All 3 were involved in that section?
Yes, sir. Yeah, all 3. So this, of course, the city related page, and then on the inside, you'll see ISD, economic development, city related content within those pages.
Have those other commitments come in yet? The city has not yet, but has any of the other, are you getting around the horn right now?
Yeah, exactly. We're, the chamber is represented here today, and
Dr. Richardson has said we're stabilizing our expenditures, so he's not able to make a final decision as far as that goes, because we're trying to stay within budget with a lot of rebudgeting happening with the chamber. He would like more information, especially on the digital side, as we discussed, because we did do some search engines, as Matt talked about. And when you put in move DeSoto, you take the word to out, livability doesn't show up. When you put locate DeSoto, so that's what I was curious about when Matt was asking, how much control do you have over your search engine? Because to take out one word and this does not even show up on the first page on Google, those are the things that we're looking at, because we are moving more towards digital. Because we have already made the community guide already, and the EDC has already made their pamphlet. So print-wise, contributing that is already there. So he's looking at how does this affect us more on the digital term, and so that's more of the information and analytics that we would like to be able to discuss if it is within the budget to move that way, or if it's going to be hotel focused, then that will also be a different area to look at for us.
okay.
Well, Board, I'm open it up for discussion, since we need to probably move on and get this figured out on what we want to do as a board ourselves.
And we need to take a holistic
Yes, yeah, I agree 100%.
Matt, what other cities have committed to this?
Cedar Hill, I'll be meeting with Lancaster, like Avila is already committed. So it's almost, of the 11 cities, yeah, I would say half already.
We have this as an action item, you guys ready for further discussion on it?
No.
What is our participation? Just
They're, the DEDC 5,500 is what they're asking for, that's the ask.
But for the 5,500, would, say the city doesn't want to participate, say the chamber's not able to participate, for the 5,500, what would that get us?
Full page.
Just one full page.
Yes, sir.
It probably wouldn't be in this premium spot, it'd be somewhere else.
It would be up towards the front of the publication.
Okay.
So in this table of contents range.
Because what it looks like, Director Waddle, is that it was a $10,800 proposition last year, correct?
Last
So this
year,
is, sir.
last year it was altogether, yeah, about $12,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 10,008 is what we're showing here. Okay. Any discussion, what do you want to say?
Yeah, this is a motion on how much we're willing to put in, and let the rest of it figure
That's what I think we
out.
don't think.
If you wanna go with this 3 page, that's not gonna buy us, we buy 1 page, and, let everybody kinda, let the school district know what they're gonna do yet, you just gotta speak for yourself.
Yeah, we do, on the 5,500. What I think that I'm hearing from the board also, and then I brought it up a little bit, so the Mayor Pro Tem and Director Jordan, is I think the testimonials are important to get them back, because we have a retreat coming up in mid-March or something, we can visit that. I'd like to see those testimonials. Anything else you can come back that
And
shows
the
some kind of
analytics,
return, the analytics of
specific
it.
analytics from
Those
those
two things,
pages.
and then I think if you want to make a motion, or you make a motion, or how you guys feel about it, we can take action, or we can hold it till our next meeting.
I'm taking action now, on our part. We'll have a motion to spend $5,500, is that correct?
Up to 5,500, it's gonna depend on the other participants, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it'll come back to us depending on what the other participants do. I have a motion on the floor to, allow our CEO to spend up to the $5,500. There, a second on that motion?
I just want to have a comprehensive marketing discussion rather than a piecemeal discussion about what we're doing, how we're going to invest. I think we can make a more informed decision about how we invest in marketing for the city if we have a comprehensive, or the DEDC, we have a comprehensive discussion around what the options are. I think this is a great publication for us to invest in marketing, but I just think as a leadership team, we should have a comprehensive discussion. So to second a motion on a $5,500, I'm not willing to second that unless we have a comprehensive discussion about our advertising and marketing for the year.
Okay. And that could be placed into our retreat.
Right.
I think that we have a retreat on, I think, the 22nd. If you could supply us back, Matt, with the information that Director Jordan asked for, Mayor Pro Tem and myself, I think we can try to we can put that into that retreat, handicap. Okay. If we could get that, I think that would help us out a lot better, so we could. I like the project, and I think all of us do like it, but we just want to make sure we understand, what we're getting ourselves into and as we spend this kind of money.
That's understandable. What would you recommend I do as far as that front cover gatefold, since normally I can hold that to a certain amount of time? Right, yeah, the only thing is if I get towards the project and you all don't like the idea of that gatefold, it really opens up Pandora's box for other organizations or cities to be involved. Would you recommend I hold this? To that extent?
What's the latest you can hold that without having issue? Because see, at the end of the day, you got to go around the horn and get everybody's commitment to even get to that gate piece.
Right.
Am I correct? You don't have all the commitments at this point.
Yeah. Right.
To secure that gate piece. So
Exactly.
How long does that go? Does that go to the 22nd? Does that go to the end of March, as we talked earlier?
I'll hold it for you all up until if you feel that it definitely sounds like you want to support to some degree. I'll definitely hold it for you.
So how long?
Up until the retreat.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fine. If you get us the information, that'd be fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then by then, you will have gone around and spoken with the other groups, and we can
Yeah.
have a better idea of whether it's a 55, because if we decide to stay in that position, it might become a 12 or something. We have a different decision if you don't get all the commitments.
Oh, yeah, because I've already spoken to all the groups, so they're gonna be relaying back their final decisions within the next few weeks, so. But yeah, I can hold that position for you all until that time frame.
Sounds good. If you get us the information by that 22nd, then we'll put it on the agenda.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay.
That'd be
Is
great.
that fine, board?
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay.
And if we can, for our retreat, if we can have all of the potential investments that we need to make, not just from livability, but just marketing and advertising as a whole.
Right, as a whole. Joe, do you hear Director
You can
Jordan?
bring that. That'd be great.
She's trying to go through the whole marketing advertising.
Sometimes things pop up and.
Sure, yeah, no, I get that. We won't be able to do that for everything, but I think, since we're approaching the retreat, it'd be great to do that.
Could you all do me a favor when look through your proposals that I already provided? And there are a lot of those analytics that you asked about already within the information. If you let Cynthia know, I guess, within the next week or so, exactly what information you would like, that way I can make sure you get all your questions answered by that time.
And then I saw that, but I'm talking specifically about the Soto's analytics, like how many people are coming to our page. 'Cause
Right.
This is for the entire website.
Yeah, I can do
Yeah,
detail.
we need the one
narrow this
specifically
down,
for
sure.
DeSoto.
Oh, yeah. What city, where the traffic's coming from? Yeah,
Yeah.
I could do that. Similar to the way I did for Texas and the best Southwest as a whole.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Any more questions for me?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're here to support you all and get out your word about why it's great to live, work, play, and invest.
Thank you. Moving on to bullet 4, DeSoto Chamber of Commerce update by Dr. Teron Richardson. Are you covering today?
Yes.
City Manager of the City of DeSoto.
Hello. As you can see, you have the Visitors Bureau report, and I'm just gonna quickly go through that, and I'm gonna kind of tie my report into it, so we can go ahead and wrap that up quickly. Member networking, our Good Morning DeSoto is March 5th.
105, page 105 of your books. Under tab 4.
Good Morning DeSoto is March 5th at 8 a.m. at Town Place Suites. And then we have our first responders luncheon on March 6th at 11 a.m. at Methodist Charlton. Upcoming ribbon cutting, groundbreaking ceremonies, Crescent Medical in Lancaster is doing a re-grand opening, and that will be on March 1st from 4 to 7 p.m. Small business workshop, we have one pending with Goldman Sachs with PCCD. They have sent us over 4 different options, so we're working with that and looking at times that are not at the same time as the ones in the incubator, so we can provide more options for small businesses outside of maybe one time, since we're partnering with them with theirs and promoting the one that the incubator is doing at this time. Group health insurance now available to chamber members only. We have signed with Benefit Solutions. All employees for the chamber are now have full benefits. And as of this past month, Faith Bible Church has signed up, saving them $6,000 per employee. So we will be pushing this benefit out to all of our members. This basically allows our members who have small businesses to become a larger group by coming together to be able to get medical, vision, and dental, and even you can also get life, short-term disability, all through this goes through benefits at this time. So it's a great benefit for small businesses who cannot afford or want cheaper prices for their benefits at this time. We do not have anything going on with the revolving loan program at this time. Community events that are coming up that we are leading, assisting, and promoting are the Grow DeSoto promoting small business training classes that are every Tuesday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. That information will go out in our upcoming newsletter to provide to our members all of the whole schedule that Terry sent me up until I believe April. Then, of course, we have the 70th birthday for the city, which Mayor Pro Tem already mentioned. And then we have the DeSoto Works Job Fair that will be on Wednesday, April 17th. And this year we changed the time to 2 to 6 to be able to allow time for professionals who already have jobs but are interested in making more profit, more opportunity to be able to attend, and child care will be provided for that event. Tourism-wise, print publications, we met with Matt as well. We're still under discussions with Dr. Richardson because he has been traveling. So we probably won't go into discussion further until the end of this week once he returns. Fundraising budget, we have our foreign travel tour, which is 2019 Destination is Tuscany trip. Right now it's $27.99 for early bird for members, and the destination presentation will be April 9th, where they will come in and do a presentation for all those who are interested in going. One will be at 11:30 a.m. and the other one will be at 5:30 p.m. We have our DeSoto Living Festival, which is April 13th. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at DeSoto East Middle School. We have a lot of people already signing up, so we are excited, hoping to make that a huge, big, successful event. And we do have a plan B this year, so if the weather does ruin the outside part, we have approval from East, and we are creating 2 setups to be able to move inside instead of actually canceling the event. Sales campaign, we're developing the marketing materials for sponsorships for all events for this year. So all the events from June till December. At this point, we will have sponsorship packages because people prefer to buy and buy the bundle. So we're working on that at this time, just securing all of our dates for upcoming events. Top Golf this year will be where the golf tournament will be on June 6th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then our monthly payment option that we have created now allows members, especially small businesses, that paying a lump sum is not as easy for them. We're going to a monthly rate. We're right now working on the restrictions that's going to go along with that. and we're gonna be pushing that off as well in April. Some additional things, we did do a tour with the EDC, the city, the ISD with Colors. Colors has committed, and they're supposed to send us a date this week in May for the EDC luncheon. Colors will be the speaker for that luncheon. And so they'll be able to present and show our small businesses their role in the city. They are joining the chamber, and so they will be our speaker for the EDC luncheon. We also had a visit with DIAB, which is expanding. So they'll be bringing over 300 jobs to DeSoto. So we're working with them, getting them to participate. Hopefully, they'll have everything in place to participate in this job fair. And as well as they're gonna be creating some small business classes to be able to speak to and do some lunch and learns with our small businesses within the community. And as of today, we got an email. We will be doing the after hours with Glow. One of their struggles has been their rooms, because when they did their grand opening, so many people were interested in their lobby and their smaller event space, because a lot of people didn't know there was a tour at the grand opening. So the after hours will focus on being able to tour the rooms and also be able to show that their bar is officially open. So it's just kind of like a small re-grand opening for them to be able to target the area that they wanted to target. So that's it for the chamber. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Schmeier,
Hey, I do have one
these are
question.
Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay.
And then the incubator will be, this will go 1 to 6 to the income practice. In the morning, and then the afternoon will be two.
Kirk's on his way, by the way.
He's on his way. Because we can come to the market, because I haven't had it for the city. You have a question from me?
No, I'll ask it later. Okay, thank you. That's probably, okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to, number 5, the financial status report presentation by Melissa Adams, the county manager of the DeSoto.
Good morning, Board. Is everyone ready? Okay.
Tab 5, I'm sorry.
Page 107.
Page, tab 5, page 107, which is right up, tab 5.
We'll start with the balance sheet as of January 31st, 2019. Total assets and liabilities are $3,311,096. Current assets are $3,125,875, and non-current assets are $185,220. The current fund balance is $3,312,925.
I'd like to mention one thing real quick, that the note receivable was paid off, and so that finally came off our balance sheet.
Yeah, the Gorley and DWP?
Yes.
Yes, it's paid off. And then also, if you go on to page 108, you have the summary of the sales tax revenue. Currently, actual year-to-date is $489,333, which is 56% of your sales tax for year-to-date versus budget. Page 109 is the summary of revenue and expenditures. January, year-to-date, total revenues account for $626,490, and total expenditures are $985,483, with a net income of negative $358,993. The majority of that is the commitments and grants, which are $687,500. On page 110, there's a graph with summary of revenues and expenditures as of January 31st. Currently, revenue is $626,491, and expenses are $985,483, with a net income of negative $358,992. Your next page, 111, shows your month-to-date versus your year-to-date of revenue and expenditures. January month-to-date revenue is $321,379. $289,733 is sales tax. And then the total expenditures are $399,457. The majority of that being grants and commitments of $325,000, with a net income of negative $78,078.
That $325,000 is the skilled nursing facility.
Is that a reimbursement to them on things they've already done, or is that?
The $125,000 was
The
dirt work,
325,
and then $200,000 for the next 3 years is an incentive for production, basically.
So it's not a reimbursement, it's
It's
just
not a
upfront
reimbursement.
money?
Well, the reimbursement for the dirt work, I
The
guess.
dirt work is reimbursed.
But the rest of it is grant.
The grant was $600,000 spread out over 3 years, and then 125 was just the dirt work.
So is this, so 325, you said it's spread out over 3 years, the payment of the,
Yeah, the next year, we'll budget 200,000, the next year we'll budget.
that's what I'm saying, you're just earmarking it right now, technically,
But
okay.
we paid it.
We paid that.
We paid it, so
It's been paid.
we actually paid it. I don't, some of y'all just, that was set up before I came here, but I don't like to pay things in advance. I like to pay things at the end, but that's how it was set up. And so, I had to do it that way. But in the future, this grant was negotiated probably a year, maybe 2 years before I came.
It was 2 years ago. Yeah, it's been a while.
So-
It's been a while. Huh?
Yeah, it was a long-term project.
It was a long project.
Sorry to get off the track, I'm just.
And the dirt and the flood thing came.
The dirt scheme was already.
Right. Okay.
They are under construction.
The next graph on page 112 are your expenditures year-to-date. Promotions account for 4.34% of the expenditures. Operating and admin are 15.35%. Personnel are 10.49%. And grant and commitments are 69.76%. If you go on to page 113, that's a further breakdown of the details of your year-to-date revenues and expenditures. You have any questions on those pages? No? Okay. And then 115 is a further breakdown of your month-to-date and year-to-date figures by line item. And then our last page, 117, is the budgeted expenses year-to-date, which show, as of right now, promotions are 32.55% of the expenditures of the budget. Supplies are 8.57%. Operations and admin are 29.6%. Personnel is 30.78%, and grant and commitments are 29.97%. Do you have any questions? Okay, and just wanted to let you guys know that the auditors have finished their preliminary audit for fiscal year 18, and they will be presenting that at the March meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Adams. Next item is the solar industry hub activity summary report for January 2019 by Terry King, Executive Director of the industry hub.
Tab 6, page 118 and 12.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I've given you the detail of generally the things that I've worked on during the month. We are focusing a lot more on events for the incubator, and last month you asked me to come forward with a proposed budget to help with marketing for the incubator. The biggest complaint that we have from the tenants is low traffic flow, so we've really been focusing on events. And to date, all of the marketing, other than the grand opening, has been funded by me through the industry hub. So what you pay me, I pay myself very little out of that, and I've used most of the rest of it to support the incubator and to move forward. So I want to, I have, pardon me?
Could you give me a minute? I need to recess the meeting for a minute. I have Director Jordan has to leave. I have another director who's on his way right now. So
Okay.
Just take a recess just for a second.
Okay.
Okay,
Is that fine?
thank you.
That's fine. Thank you.
We'll be coming late on the budget today.
Okay.
Recess at,
Yeah, recess at, 10:01, 10:06, is that Bill?
I got a call.
Coming out of recess at 10:12. Thank you for joining us, Director Carl.
You're welcome. Sorry I'm late. Can I get coffee?
We were up to Ms. Toomey was up in bullet point number 6.
Right. Okay, so what I'd like to spend my time on is talking about the proposed marketing budget that you guys asked me to put together for you.
Page 122.
And we really need to go social media. I have done a lot of, competitive research on every other type of marketing that we could do. Print media, in the situation like we're in, we need to drive foot traffic every day. And you can't do that with print media. First of all, I don't know however many of you get magazines in the mail, and how many of them do you actually read? So you can tell me all you want about how many households you reach and all that stuff. If you can't track how many people actually saw it and how they reacted to it, it's useless information. And so what I've done here is focus on social media advertising. And I'm going to have Brandon come up and talk to you a little bit about what Brandon does. Currently, I pay Brandon myself. And we increased his responsibility. He is now responsible for putting all the ads for all the events on the website. And we'll begin tracking more of that for effectiveness. But Brandon, I'm going to have you talk about what you're doing.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brandon Moore. The biggest thing I really want to take time to highlight is if you can turn to I don't know what page it is in your stuff, this one, but it's going to be this here. And it's just a little bit of the work that I've done. So if you look here,
123.
yeah. So Terry gave me a monthly budget for us to start running our ads, which at this point with Facebook, that's the direction we want to go. I'm sure everybody knows what happened with the political things that happened. So Facebook has put a lot more restrictions on how things are being pushed through companies, and now it's a lot more about what do you about the person more than it is the company. So you have to spend money to get those ads out to everybody. So if you look here with that $100 spend, we reached 25,000 people who are specifically here in DeSoto. This is no one outside of that zip code saw this ad, and we reached 25,000 people. We hit those people an average of 2.78 times. So we're almost at 3 times each person saw this. And this is just within a month. And then that relevance score was at 7, and that's 7 out of 10, right? So all of that for $100 in 1 month. That's what the ad's been. And that's just because I've been running these ads for a while now for Grow DeSoto. So I know exactly how to hit each one of those people. So that's one of the biggest things I want to make sure that we're showing here is the actual numbers that are coming across here. And the only reason I think that this score, the relevance was so high is because we had great media to push forward with that, which was the video that was done for the intro. That's literally the only just high quality content that we have. So that's what part of this budget is going to be, is making sure we have things like Dalila with her articles, because she is, and are we going to take time for Dalila to come
Yes.
and speak to?
Yeah.
She'll be able to dig into that, all of the things that she's been doing herself, pushing Grow DeSoto. Yeah, that's really just the main thing I wanted to put out there to you guys. At this point, social media is gonna be our best way to reach multiple people on a daily basis in an effective way. What were you saying?
What is the relevance score?
So relevance score is something that Facebook has itself that it doesn't really give all of the details of how they calculate it. But basically it's a score at 1 through 10 to let you know, like when somebody sees that ad, how relevant was it to that person. There's a lot of things that go into that.
It's what I
with-
mentioned
Which
earlier
means
about
you're-
how
okay, when
important,
you talk
like,
to
does it
Matt,
even make
yeah.
sense to show it to that person?
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically we're seeing here that, you know, as a score of 7 out of 10 when it comes to people seeing that. So people are actually watching the video, people are going to the website, those kind of things.
And
So-
we're actually seeing foot traffic increase because of this.
Okay.
Awesome.
Does this 7, how does it convert to feet, to traffic in
Yep.
the building? How can you track that?
Yes, and we're, along with our events calendar and this program, we're watching the daily flow of people come into the business. So we're seeing significant increase on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and some on Sundays, but not as much on Sundays, but Saturdays. This past Saturday, we had a live band, we had a black bingo contest throughout the
Black History
building.
Month.
And we had consistent traffic all afternoon. So, 10, 15, 20 people in and out, all the time for that whole afternoon. And, so that's what we're doing from that perspective. And believe me, I'm a results-based person. If it's not working, I will change it in a heartbeat. So when I see something that's working, then I wanna expand it. Now, because of Brandon's increased responsibility of doing the advertising on the growtosoda.org website, make sure all the events there, that the information is accurate, that the ads that are there are the same ads that are on the TV, that are the same ads that the tenants are printing and distributing, so it's that reinforcement. We're developing a brand awareness, which we do not have. And so that's why this is so important, and that's why this investment is important. Brandon, do you have anything else you want to share before I have?
Yeah, I think this is just from my perspective as I'm 26, I'm a millennial, I guess, is where I'm put into that category. And just for me connecting with people, I also have a brand more in Dallas where I'm literally connecting with people who are in my age group, showing them things about the city. When they talk about DeSoto, I've met a lot of people who have said they've lived here, they've moved away from here, they've moved here. Like, there are a lot of different people who are giving me perspective of DeSoto. When I talk about grow DeSoto, that's the part that people get excited about, right? And I just feel like if we can put more into that and have it as that beacon of DeSoto, showing how successful it is, showing the awesome things that have come out of the city, like Peace, Love, Eats, stories like that, that's what brings people out here. And I think that's gonna be the biggest opportunity for us as a city, is showing people that we have things that are that are moving forward in the city like that. So, and that was really just my main point, and I'll let Dalila, she can get more into those.
Now, we really want to focus more on events, and we need somebody who's going to coordinate that and who knows how to reach out to the community to do that. So Dalia is going to talk to you about some of the things that she's done. She is not on my payroll yet, but I would like to add her. I can't expand from my budget more than what I'm doing currently. So I need you, if we're gonna make this successful, I need the EDC to share in that expense. The other thing that I'm doing, and then I'll let Dalia talk, is I'm investing all of the additional resources that are available through the Industry Hub to creating the training program for the incubator, and those training programs are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7:30 to 8:30. And they will be ongoing, and we will bring in, right now we're doing PR and digital media, but starting in April, we'll do some on legal, and then I'll expand that, but that's where we are right now. So Dalia, talk to about your events.
Okay, hello everyone, good morning, my name is Dalila Thomas. I am a PR representative, also a writer. I wanted to talk to you all about different things, get to events, but wanted to talk about both traditional and non-traditional ways of getting some awareness to Grow DeSoto, the Grow DeSoto marketplace. Definitely, we mentioned print and how print is dying. However, of course, print dishes out digital links, things of that nature. So, as I mentioned, I'm a writer. I have done 4 different pieces highlighting Grow DeSoto, 1 overall encompassing, 2 Peace, Love, and Eats focus, and then 1 on Crazy Potatoes. So of those, I have gotten over 5,000 shares, and that's just shares. What I plan to do as a PR representative is do local pitching, obviously, to Dallas Morning News. I actually spoke with the head of the food editor for Dallas Morning News, and she had no idea that Grow DeSoto was a thing in an incubator. So things like that, and just making people aware of what is here, I think is so important. Again, national pitching, I think an incubator of such is something that definitely can get some national recognition, be it, obviously it's heavily Black-owned businesses, things like an Essence, things of that nature, even a GMA I want to pitch, aside from the whole market, definitely, like we mentioned, James's story, things of that nature, finding stories that everyone has. Non-traditional, social media, influencers, this is something that's happening, this is something that's relevant. Getting these people in here, I actually did a search when I first came in here. Brandon saw it, I put in DeSoto influencer, nothing came up. DeSoto blogger, nothing came up. If you put in Dallas influencer, things of that nature, Plano, it will pop up. So getting people in here, what that looks like, me reaching out to bloggers that I know, hey, come in here on Saturday, come in here on a specific day, get them in here, get some samples going from different places, get some discounts or something or another from those people, for those people, in the return on investment is posts, things of that nature. Hey, I'm at Grow DeSoto, we're having fun, we're doing this, we're doing that. Getting those bloggers in here to put that awareness out to that crowd that's on the internet. The internet is thriving. Scavenger hunts, hashtags, things of that nature. Similar to what you all did the first Grow DeSoto opening. And then of course events. If it's not people not hearing about Grow DeSoto, it's people that have heard about it but haven't come yet. So having events and generating just awareness of what's going on, bringing people out, pop-ups, things of that nature, yes.
Just really quick, I just wanted to throw in another thing we've been doing with Grow, Thank God It's Vegan.
Yes,
So just mention that real quick.
pop-ups, they're already doing Thank God It's Vegan. That's James bringing in some people, is it 8 to 11, 7 to 11?
8 to 11.
Bringing in.
Tomorrow.
Yes,
On the website,
yes.
so.
I know they didn't do it last week because of the weather, but because of that, they're doing it tomorrow and the next Tuesday. We're only gonna try it out during February. But it's been getting so much, so many people, so many different people. Yes, the community needs to come out, but it's drawing people from different places. And the more eyes and the more people that are in the incubator and occupying the incubator and seeing what's going on, even if they're there for one thing, it's gonna bring in more people. Myself personally, I do obviously events. I did a bus tour over the weekend. And
Super sorry, I just wanted to say that the Thank God It's Vegan event we brought in, it was 120.
125 as far as the po' boys were concerned.
Yeah.
So in one, 3-hour.
That was the
time
first
period.
one. The second one that he did, he sold 227 meals. The second one, and then they didn't do the third one because of weather. So, and then James reported back to me that a lot of the people who came in for his event that evening, that had been there only for the first time, came back in the next day and walked around the shops. So we can see that we're getting traction. We just need that traction to continue.
Yes, I personally, my partner and I do bus tours. We highlight Black-owned restaurants, Black-owned businesses. What we did this weekend, I reached out to James and Delightful Sweets. I said, hey, is it okay if we swing through for the tour? We got about 40 or so people
They say yes, we came through, they got samples. What I told them to do, we have some time, take a lap around, see what's around, see what's in here. A lot of them, I asked them to raise their hand, tell me who's been here, maybe 3 people raised their hand. So that's just getting more eyes, more events, more people in here, and then, yeah, just pop-ups, I think.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, so far, Delia is just working with James, but we need to expand that program to the rest of the businesses in the incubator. I taught my first PR class last Tuesday. That class was on storytelling. And what I'm trying to do is train small businesses on how to tell their story. You know, how many small businesses do you talk to and they bury the lead? You talk to them for 10 minutes and finally they get to what is the story. Well, that's what I'm trying to train them, is get your story up front. Don't talk to people for 10 minutes. How are you unique? Why are you special? Why are you worthy of the story? And in the 6 weeks of that PR class, we'll take them through everything, including how to develop their media kit, because that all needs to be done before you have your first interview. And how do you find journalists who write about your topic? That's what we're going to talk about this week. Brandon has a whole series on social media. And what does social media mean? The first one he did was Facebook versus Instagram. These are all free. And what we need to do is get those to video so that we can put them up on the city channel for free to all small businesses in the area. That takes money. So if I can get these services paid for, I can take the money that I was currently using for advertising and do the development work for that. So you can see the money that you're investing in me is being invested back into the community. I'm not banking any of that money other than the small salary that I pay myself. And the rest of the money I am putting right back into this community. Yes?
I'm looking at, your marketing budget request for the Grove DeSoto Marketplace, and it only really lists the actual, publications or whatever the vehicle is. Do you have a budget for the actual radio ad or the videos or something, or are you guys just doing that in-house, like with you guys maybe putting together something or doing a voiceover for the radio?
Well,
will you be
yeah,
contracted?
what I put in there was more of a slush fund. If you're gonna cut any place, that's where I'd rather you cut. And I went to K104 and I looked up their media buys. Their minimum is $1,000 a week. I don't recommend that, but what I tried to do is look at what would be comparable if I needed to go to another venue. There are times when you want to make a decision based on, like national advertising, like it was talking about in the Southwest Partnership. That's a different kind of buy than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about immediate impact on people who can come into the incubator, because our marketing is all local and we can track everything daily. So, if we invest $100 in Facebook advertising, every day we can see the impact of that ad. And if we're no longer getting the reach, we can change that ad that day. So it's not, yeah, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that connectivity. How do we reach out to more people? And we've done a lot of events this past month, and that's beginning to drive traffic. But we need a more organized program so that it's ongoing and sustainable. Okay.
What kind of participation do you get when you have these courses, about all these things you're trying to choose someone that's starting to do? Are they participants? It's kind of like getting drinks out of a fire hose.
Absolutely.
For a lot of,
Absolutely.
for any of us, really. Is the participation pretty good? I mean, are you?
Well, for our first class, we had 15 people. I thought that was outstanding for the
Okay,
first one.
great.
And then for Brandon's, I think we had 10. And I think the more we get the word out there, and then what I'm focusing on then too is this is a limited resource. If we have 20 seats. If you don't have a ticket, you can come and stand outside the door, but if those 20 people who signed up are there, they get in and you can stand outside and listen, but you can't come in. And I hope we get to that problem. And I think we will, but the way we expand that is to take it to that government TV channel that is free to everybody, but we need to set it up in the right way. I don't want, you know, how many talking heads do you see doing webinars? It's so uninteresting. That's not the program that we're setting up. Our program has learning objectives. We take them through, we do live video for an hour, and we'll reduce that to a 30-minute segment and only have the very relevant information. And then they can view it then, and I don't know how often those recycle on there, but we can work out something with that so that, you know, people can have options. But that's where we're going with the industry hub.
You do this classes at a regular time every week?
Yes, it's 7:30, 8:30, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. And then the chamber will start advertising them as well. And then we've opened it up to the entire Southwest, so it's not just us. All of the chambers in the area can send people. And again, that brings more people into the incubator, increases our awareness, increases our functional, what's the word I'm on? Contribution to the community and to the small business community. Because the training that we're doing, we're not talking about, you know, how to increase you as your, you know, your personal, how you make your presentation. That's not what this is about. This is about how to grow your business. Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to share with you is this article that we did on the incubator. You can actually go to the Livability website and pull up this article and share it on your social media channels.
Oh, we'd love to do that.
And leverage the Livability media, because we have a huge Facebook social media following. So that would increase your presence, and it's not only from, you know, just regular residents, but it's going to give you a national, and also entrepreneurs. We recently worked with Entrepreneur Magazine. They asked us to put together the top 50 cities in America for entrepreneur development. They republished it through that media platform, just as we've had CNBC, Wall Street Journal, Huffington Post. These are all major media partners that are promoting livability media. And it can get stories out there like this, not only within your community, but, you know, all across, you know, the U.S. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I got a couple of questions here, just to, I don't know if you guys have any discussion on this, but I just want to understand these numbers here. So we got 29.5, so 10,005 is for, that's what's branding and social media, is that correct?
Social media and the advertising on the website.
Social media and advertising on the website. Okay, and then the social media advertising, that's $200. Is that back to your $102 over here on this one page?
Yeah, so that's exactly what that is. That's the actual ad spend, which is the social media advertising, and then the social media coordinator, that's my salary. For how much I be paid to manage those things.
The 1,400?
The 15 to manage it, and then it's 200 to, oh, you're talking about the one in the next bar. The
Right.
1,400 goes straight into ads, so that's
Okay.
all ad spend, and then the rest is how much I'll be making to
The
actually go
1,500
in.
is what you'll be making a month to actually manage the social media side.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Which
you
is
wanna-
well below industry standard.
Okay. Now go down to the events coordinator. Now what does that do with that? Is that you?
Yes, that would be me, yes.
And she's gonna be going after bloggers, influencers, people who can get the word out about who we are. And I am of the age where I have an extensive marketing background. I've got more than 35 years of marketing and very successful marketing, but I know what I don't know how to do. And social media is not my strength, and I need to hire people who can do that. I can do the flyers, I can help the businesses develop their story, and I can pitch it, and I can work with Matt to do things. But we need those skill sets that are not in my bailiwick. And I'm totally upfront with what I'm good at and what I'm not good at.
Okay, so when I get back over here, Brandon, on this other, second page on the impressions per day, okay, the 25,000 people, what age groups are those? Did you target specifically? Because I don't want to get 19-year-olds that can't spend money.
Yeah, so with this one, I did a much wider one, where it was, I believe, from 21 up to, I think there's no age limit on there. But that's something that we can work on, and if we wanted to change that today, I could adjust that to.
Well, you understand what we're trying to get in the door?
Yeah, no, yeah.
People are gonna spend money.
People were gonna actually spend money, right?
Okay, so now the 500, Ms. Tony, is the 3,500, that's the DJs trying to bring in, or?
Right, that's event-related expenses, anything that we might, so if we did a DJ, or if we did, we wanted to do a specific banner, or if we wanted to do some kind of a video related to that, that is a very nominal price for us to be able to do a video. I don't know what the grand opening video costs, but I can guarantee you it didn't cost $500.
Okay, the 7,000 is the radio stuff, so then the pure ask is 29,500, and how is that to be submitted to you guys? What are you looking for on this 29,500?
I would like that money to come, to be accessible to the industry hub, and it will be a reimbursable expense. So when I submit my, my invoice, you'll be invoiced for whatever I've actually spent.
So this is a monthly invoice?
Monthly invoice, yes,
Not to exceed the 29,500.
that's correct.
What do you think, Joe?
This is a 7-month budget. You realize that, first of all, we don't have this budgeted at all in our current budget. Doesn't mean we can't do it, it just means that we've got to figure out, get creative on where we're gonna take it. We can take it out of fund balance, we can change our numbers around, as long as we get the city council to buy off them. And that happens, the city council does updates, they change their budget, every 3 months or 4 months, whatever. Okay, so that would be one way of getting it. We're already spending more in this budget cycle, this budget year, than we're bringing in revenue. So that's a question. But this is only, 7 months worth of budget. If you budget for it next year, it'd be almost twice this amount. So we're talking about $60,000 next year. If we budget, if we continue the program on for the next budget cycle. So that's pretty good, yeah.
All right, Boyd, what's your thoughts, Director Crum, any thoughts on it?
Well, I think it's needed, there's no question about that. I don't know what the carrot is for those people who are businesses in the incubator to participate in Brandon's or Terry's classes. They've got to own some of this. This is them. We can increase foot traffic with bands and pop-ups and runway shows, but if they're not doing their job, and that's part of, and Terry knows that's part of what she does, is hold their hand, but we need a carrot or a stick, it seems to me, to let them know that if you're not doing it, then, in an incubator, you turn the eggs, you keep the light on, you have the temperature just right, otherwise, those chicks die.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and what we're, excuse me for interrupting, but what we're doing is the events that they're doing and that the tenants are sponsoring, we have a tenant event committee. And so they're doing a lot of events. What we're gonna do is more the outside influencer kinds of things, and to hyper publicize their events to get more people in there. So we're getting them more involved in that whole process, and helping them understand that the more involved they are, the better chance they have to be successful. And we're also changing the way we vet new tenants coming in. We're being much more restrictive in approving somebody. And now we've gone to the point where we won't even consider them until they start working with me. And I can make an educated decision based on, are they really committed? Do they have enough money to start? I mean, we just interviewed a restaurant last week, and the whole point is he really needs to wait a couple months and build his revenue, and then come in so that he has a better chance of being successful. So we've changed our process. Joe and Rachel are both on the committee and can attest to that. And so what we're trying to do is get much more aggressive in the front end so that on the back end they have a better chance to be successful.
When we worked the budget this past year. I said I was hoping to break even on the incubator this year. Wasn't looking to make any money. It looked like we were about to start the break even process about this month. We've lost a couple of tenants, but still I think it was gonna break even, starting in March, and this will put us in the red. I mean, as far as just incubator stuff goes. But who knows? I mean, if we pick up a few more tenants, we will be back in the black.
So one thing that for me, I'm there at the incubator and I actually talk to the actual tenants on a regular basis there. And that was one of the things that, for the people who left, like my aunt is one of the people who is gone now.
Crazy potatoes.
Yeah, she's one of the people who gone, and that was one of the things that they were really looking for more of, is just some type of support. Because, you know, I think kind of going into what you were saying about the carrot and the stick, I think that this is the carrot. You know, that's having some type of resource to provide to them. With the marketing, that's literally been their biggest complaint that they've had. So I think us doing that, and then also having them buy into it, I think this kind of incentivizes them to come and work with Terry more, because they know Terry has budget for this for the marketing things. She's going to be guiding what direction we go with what we market, and that's we kind of need that to be that carrot, if that makes sense.
Director Waller, what do you think?
I think we ought to discuss it. That retreat like the other. You know, still gotta get break even deal somewhere in here, like ours over there. And I know what you're saying, and we need it, but you know, we got ownership on the whole thing. And I'd like to discuss it before we come up. Or, if you want to do it in the budget, you know, let's try it 2 or 3 months and see what happens. Let's wait for the whole year. Let's see what happens. How much is it gonna cost us for that?
Have you guys, by any chance, and you guys sit on this committee, Joe, you and Mayor Pro Tem, what kind of committee is that?
It's Monty and his representative, the 3 of us, Vanessa and Brandon sits on the committee.
And it's a committee that we determine and interview the people that are pitching, to get a spot on the incubator.
Okay. The more established businesses that are in there, have you asked any kind of a co-op? I mean, we're getting to some skin in the game a little bit. If it's $29K, could they co-op and come together and put up $5,000? I mean, every month they're putting something into the table. We get a group of people to come together and try to work this thing out with everybody, as opposed to we just go and do it, and then what kind of skin do they really have in the game? And I think that's what he's kind of talking about a little bit. We could probably go do it, but at the end of the day, what are they doing to promote themselves and make it better as well? Could they participate in this 29.5, some portion of it?
I'm not sure. They are right now creating a marketing budget for themselves, something where they could support an event kind of thing. So in the event that they funded that, then I wouldn't charge, we wouldn't be charged against this budget. So they're doing something. Monty has agreed that whatever money they raise initially, he'll match it. So they're almost at $500. Monty said he would match it. So then they would have $1,000 to do some kind of advertising.
But talking about skin in the game as well,
Right.
not just financially, but I'd like to see somebody from the incubator serve on the committee that you, Mayor Pro Tem, and that Joe are on. I mean, they have a vested interest in seeing this thing, and not just that, but working with Brandon. I think that they need to. You learn more when you do it than when you listen to it. And so I'd like to see them. I don't know how we force them. I don't know what the carrot or the stick is, but I think they've got to step up and they've got to say, I'll serve.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that hasn't been brought up. It doesn't mean it can't be, but.
I'd ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just go back and ask, and then probably Director Wall is probably in the position, 'cause I think it's needed. How do we get there?
Yeah, I totally agree.
We gotta sit down with Joe and talk more about the budget, how it fits into what we're doing.
And we did talk about, and I didn't even cut you off, we did talk about the additional spaces that we have in the office space area that are not being
Right.
rented out or utilized, which could possibly generate some additional money to somewhat offset this particular budget, and, because we're not getting anything for them now, and I know that it was mentioned about possibly turning it into, and correct me if I'm wrong, co-working type spaces where there's a monthly membership fee or something to that degree. And of course, we have to work out the details on exactly how it will be, how it will be managed there, but this is not something other people are not doing. So there's already a working model that we could pattern that after. It's not a brand new thing, the
Right.
co-working space.
And I'm doing research on that. So if that money was decided that that money would go towards the advertising, then we would just put that in this pool. And then, you know, when I billed you, you would see what came from where, who funded what part of it.
Because it would be a monthly membership fee,
Right.
so that would be.
And my books are completely open. You guys can audit them at any time. So I'm,
So how long do you think if we, so let's say we started funding today or tomorrow or next week or whatever, how long would it take you to see some results from this?
I think we're gonna see results within a couple of weeks. We're already seeing results from what we're doing on our limited without bringing Delia in. So I wanna bring her in and actually pay her. She's doing as a volunteer what she should be paid to do.
Are you suggesting that a couple, 3 months, a 90-day trial to just get a feel for it?
You'll have a feel for it.
You'll have a feel for it by the 22nd?
Well, Ms. Tony says we will.
In a couple of weeks, and you'll have it by the retreat.
But I don't want to run the whole year of it out there,
Okay.
you know, I want to see what, you know, we
Okay.
keep talking about results and, you know, investments and stuff. You'll have a quick results, you will know
Yeah,
this.
absolutely.
By the time we hit that retreat. Yeah, so, okay, and I want to ask a question here too, because I'm trying to get back, and I didn't phrase this correctly. If I got 10 people sitting in that building that are doing well, and you can't tell me those 10 people cannot put $100 a month up towards this, which becomes $1,000 a month, that just eats away at it. This is all for them at the end of the day.
Right.
Hopefully they're doing their own thing, is what you're saying. But then at the end of the day, I bring the financial piece back here and say, if I was sitting in that place, and I got Bonte putting up 50% of whatever or 100% of what I put in, then you come into us, we get, now, I just wanna know what your participation is in this, because this is all for you at the end of the day.
Correct.
You can see now that this board is feeling okay about trying to do something. And I would go along with Director Waddle and turn this in a 90-day, and just, and by the time we get to our retreat on the 22nd, I wanna see some results from you guys saying what happened. You know, because you're saying 2 to 3 weeks. If we did start it today, correct, Director, then we would have something by the 22nd of March. You guys would give us a strong feel to walk in for 30 minutes and say, here's what happened on this $2,000 a month that we gave you guys for 6 months.
Right, well, you have your benchmark on the numbers that I gave you in your graphs, so we'll watch and see what the results are in our increased advertising. We'll see that right away. We're gonna see it daily on how many people are going to the website, how many, and then, right now, some of the businesses are just barely making it month to month. If they start seeing a little breathing room there, then I think they're gonna be willing to participate. They're just not there yet.
And then too, the thing about it is that what I appreciate about it, or what I like about having a separate marketing budget is to specifically market the space, is because a lot of people, let alone know about any of the business in there, they don't even know what the space is. And so there's no real awareness, because again, I mentioned it at another meeting, the messaging, I've heard from people that they think it's a grocery store, they think it's, you know, something to that degree, they don't really know what it is. And not only would it drive foot traffic, but it also helps when we talk about getting people interested, whether that's a new tenant or the co-working space, or just to get people in there for a myriad of reasons, other than just creating foot traffic. I think it could really help to bring eyes on that particular space. And like one of our presenters, you know, mentioned talking about national and talking about bloggers and influencers and people that have audiences already developed that they can share this with. I think that is very important, and I think it would serve several different purposes other than just saying we're driving foot traffic. Of course, that's top, but again, right now we have vacant spaces, so we need people to get interested in the incubator, even in that regard, to start driving more quality prospects for tenancy there as well.
Right. Now, just this past week, or week and a half, we had, in both food court areas, we had connectivity ports established where you can plug your computer in or plug it's a USB port as well. So there's 4 of those now in the incubator. We just installed the TV where all of our ads, everything that the tenants are doing is on a video spool, and that just gets changed as often as it needs to get changed. Ronnie Pettigrew, who does the Ace Ronnie J, he's the one who's handling that for us with his IT background, so we haven't had to pay for that. Monty paid for the TV, I paid for the computer that went with it. We just had the, the Overstreet sign for, that was done for the grand opening. We just had that redone. It was almost $1,000 to have that redone. And so, I think you guys can see my level of commitment, but I'm stretched as far as I can go.
Board, what's your pleasure here? I heard Director Wall make a comment.
How much are we talking about?
We're probably talking, divided by 12, you're talking about $2,400 a month for 3 months, you'd be talking $6,000 or $7,000.
We should have an answer, Mr.
And we should have space.
Yeah.
Like you, how do you feel about that?
Well, for 3 months at $4,000 is $12,000. So it'd be,
If you take the, I just took the 29.5 divided by 12, is that the way it works?
No, it's not, this is not a 12-month budget.
Oh, what is?
It's only to the end of this fiscal year.
Okay, I'm sorry, so
7 months.
so it's 7 months, so it's 7 months, okay. What did you come on?
so it's 4379, so that'd be $13,000, $14,000 for 3 months.
So we talking $4,000 a month?
Yeah, I broke it down by monthly, so it's $43.79. Now, that 89 is that's only a twice-year expense, that's not a monthly expense for the meetup subscription.
I'm totally okay with what Bobby said, and then talk about the retreat. My question is, can you secure for 3 months the commitment of those that you said you could secure for 7 months?
Yes?
Will they say yes to that?
Yes?
Well,
Yes,
this
it
is-
is.
I didn't want to ask.
This is right behind you. Okay, we're done. We take action on this thing? Well, do we have it set up to take action? On the agenda, not as an action
I
item,
think we can, because if you look at C, regular agenda items for discussion and or possible action, I think that
That's
covers
fine,
it.
that's fine.
Does that cover it?
I'll go with that.
Would that be in B? though?
I'll back that up.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I make a motion we put it for 3 months. Council, you can write afterwards, however you want to do that. That's my motion, and then with the results, come back to us.
By the 22nd.
Yeah, on the 23rd, yeah. We'll get some feel for it.
Okay. I got a motion from Director
Second.
Waterman, second by Director Crone. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Motion passed. Go to work.
I will.
Get something
Here we
done.
go.
Get something done.
Here's an ad that we put into this Southern Dallas, and we got this ad for free, so I'm not gonna pretend that we paid for this. This was a free ad for us. But it should go out to the community and get more foot traffic in for our training program.
I think if the weather improves, we'll probably see more participation.
Yeah. And with this inflation.
Yeah, and you have real numbers that are your baseline, and so we'll use that as our baseline measure.
You gotta talk to your tenants.
Yeah, I will.
Especially now, I'll talk to Monty first.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys very much. Thank you for coming out,
Thank you.
taking your time. Next item is item 7, which is discussion and possible action regarding continuing the DEC revolving loan program.
This is under tab 7, page 129. I was asked to bring this to you, see what you want to do with the revolving loan fund. It is still in effect today. In fact, we have someone that came in and said they really need a loan or a grant, and so that is in executive session later, but as of today, we're still in the loan program. Even though we have met with some people applied for loans this year, we have not moved forward on any of them in the past. I've been here 15 months now, total. And so, I'm not saying it's a bad program, but we have had some hiccups, but we have some people that paid us some interest on some of this too. We're just not in the business, most EDCs just aren't bankers that go around and dun people for money, but that's how we have to do. And, it's a program that y'all want to look at. We can do it now. I had on the agenda to talk at the retreat, but we can discuss it all you want to.
Well, we do it at the retreat, hopefully we'll have other board members come back to you. But we'll talk about it now. Personally, I'm not big on this program, and hung out there. You have no way, you have one class, you have no way to get it back, you lose money. It's, the judiciary is responsibility taxpayer, we're not in the banking business. It's just what I look at it. And, you know, one of them, we had no recourse, you just gonna sit there and, it's a loss. We did try to explain that to somebody, and says, well, what was your plan? What do you have? It's all fake. It's one DEC stuff, and maybe, I don't know, have it law and all that.
All of our loans are on our balance sheet. Tab 4, I'm sorry, tab 5, first sheet, page 107. The non-current assets. Some of them have paid down well. Like I said, the Gorley and DeSoto One Green Partners, that's what DWP stands for, paid off at about $80,000. But we did have to get attorneys, all of them to get that money. We were about to put a lien on their property.
Now let me clarify something on that one. That was not part of the revolving loan program.
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
No, that was part of their grant agreement.
It wasn't a grant,
Well, it was a loan. It was a loan kind of associated with.
Yeah, I waited for my time, so.
Yeah, no, but that was not part of the revolving loan program.
Some of the others are doing okay. Of course, the 40,000 is gone.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
We might as well.
We're never gonna get that.
Auditor.
well, I mean, I'll leave that up to the auditors on the appropriate time for you to write it off, but, as far as we're concerned, there's, we've got default judgments, abstracted judgment liens, filed out there on that one, but, there's no assets to go get and nowhere to be found where the note signers of the note are, so.
Well, listen, do you know if everyone's fairly current now on the payments?
Everyone is, they're current, you have an agreement with Top 5 and they're paying weekly.
Are they doing it? They've been doing it? Okay. So none of them are really a major risk right now?
No.
I think if we did this again, I agree with Bobby, when we wrote and signed the Orcasitas loan, and then we found out that they were not ever going to pay it back because it was in Mexico. I couldn't believe we didn't have any clawback or any collateral. So I would never vote again for a revolving loan that didn't have some form of collateral or clawback. So I think at that point then I would be willing to make a motion to discontinue the program.
I've said in on the last loan application, lady with her niece, $50,000, and they wanted to put up 2 old pickups for collateral. And I said, I looked over your financials, and you own a rent house in Lancaster, free and clear. I think the board might consider that because it's worth $89,000 for a $50,000 loan. And she said, well, I really didn't want to put that up. I said, well, that would be my recommendation to the board, but I don't make those decisions. But I just couldn't imagine y'all taking 2 old pickups for collateral for $50,000.
Ain't gonna happen.
That's
As far as this lawyer's concerned.
I just don't think we'll pay.
Well, Well, actually, it says discussion and possible action regarding continuing the program. So I have a motion on the floor, is that correct?
Yep, I'll make a
Director
motion.
Crum,
Yep, to
do you have a
discontinue
second
the
that
program.
motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
And the intent that it's gotten as far as the policy is concerned, we can still have Kathy Jackson's name on it.
Yes,
You don't even know who that is. I know, you know who she is.
He's the old.
You don't even know, right?
He's the old lord.
Yeah.
notice that.
Few years ago.
Or chamber.
Yes, he's the old chamber. Okay, guys, we are about to head into executive session. Executive session under Texas Government Code, section 551.087, economic development deliberation. Number one, deliberation and discussion regarding the economic development incentive agreement between the project house bearers and the DeSoto Economic Development Corporation. Deliberation and discussion regarding the economic development incentive agreement between Project Lego, TR, and the DeSoto Economic Development Corporation. Deliberation and discussion regarding the grant program application or revolving loan program application for Cecilia Enterprises LLC for paving improvements required by the city of DeSoto. It is now 11:02. Would we like to take a 5-minute break? And then we're going to executive session. Thank you. Convening into open session at 12:12. There are no actions as a result of the executive session. We are down to the G briefing, which is by Chief Executive Officer Joe Newman.
Here's my activity report for the past month and also the scorecard. Very briefly, I talked a little bit about our conference call with Project Lego. We met with the industrial prospects at McGraw-Hill building. Our loan was repaid, the loan we made on the property, we talked about that earlier. Mayor McCown, Dr. Richardson and I met with H-E-B Grocery Store, their representative, and talked a little bit about that. They don't plan on moving H-E-B stores in here for at least a couple of years, or in this area, I should say. State of the city address was Mayor McCown, was well attended, and we provided them a lot of stats and things for the slideshow. Attended the Best Southwest Board meeting. We talked a little bit about that. Talked about the trip to Montreal was an interesting deal. I went to Austin this past week with leadership of Best Southwest, and while I was there, I stayed over for the legislative conference for the Texas Economic Development Conference. I guess I have to tell you some bad news. The back side of that is where we show our sales tax for this month. And this is the first time in 15 months we have had a negative number in that column. I went back and researched it. It was sales. We had some bad sales a couple months ago, I guess, but we were down 11.03%. And that's the first time we have been down in a long. We're still up for the year about 3%. I mean, because we had such a, remember last month we were like 22% or something? That equals out, and unfortunately it really brought us down. So not sure what happened, but it looks like it was actual sales. It wasn't an audit. You know, a lot of times you see an audit that ends up influencing sales tax revenues. The rest of that is the scorecard that we started doing a couple months ago. Vanessa in my office puts this together, and Cynthia, so if you have questions about that, I'll try to answer them, or they can help you answer.
On that 948, we got two opportunities on the 948 right now?
Yeah.
Okay. The 948 square feet, 948,000. Joe, how long does it take before, like you were saying on the sales tax side, how long does it take before the impact of like an offices will get that? Is that a
that possibly be considered in there to some degree?
So the sales tax generation, I mean.
Right. Well, they fell out, so there's no
Yeah,
longer in the marketplace. so.
you know, chances are it was probably Kohl's. I attributed Kohl's to it, since they're our biggest sales tax paying company.
Mhm.
They generate more than everyone else. I'm assuming it's them, but it may not.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, last month I was saying, well, maybe it was, you know, Kohl's and the incubator generated some sales tax, the reason we were up so much. Who knows? I just know that when I dig down a little bit further and it's not an audit, that means it was actual sales. Sometimes sales, companies upgrade occasionally, bring in new equipment, they have to pay sales tax on. My own brother got caught, he bought some computers for his company in Chicago, didn't even think about it, shipped them in, and random audit by the controller's office, cost him lots of money, because he didn't know he had to pay use tax on those things, he just didn't know. And, but those things happen. What else can I tell you?
On Project CI, is that getting close, or is that kind of real? Have they
That's,
been down to visit?
so actually they came and they met with Bobby and Belinda at the time.
Okay. You remember
That was the company from Philadelphia.
Philadelphia?
Oh, yeah.
Automotive company.
Yeah.
I was out of town I was out of town, I can't remember where I was going somewhere.
But I mean, they've asked questions, they have our incentive application, we just need to follow up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just, the impact of jobs is pretty.
Oh, yeah,
significant, so
yeah.
that's
Well,
what
they wanted to relocate their entire, headquarters
Yeah.
from Philadelphia to
Oh,
here.
here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't have any questions?
No, they didn't tell us that. They were doing a lot of preliminary work and they had, interest in that building.
So we had to follow up in a couple of months with them.
Just emails back and forth, but nothing significant, nothing worth, noting.
It's a process, like I've said numerous times, it's a process of elimination, and they're narrowing down the list of potential places. Sometimes it's available buildings, sometimes it's incentives, sometimes it's workforce is a huge factor. If you're coming in and just wanting a tax break or something, and you haven't even looked at your workforce, you're not doing what's best for your company. People, when they ask me the first thing, they want to know what you're going to give me. I figure they're not going to make these corporate citizens, or they are here just for the short haul. So that's all I have. Have any questions for me? I would like to take a week of vacation the week of the 11th. I'm painting my house. Lots of fun.
That's not a vacation.
No, I know. Trust me.
Don't really mind.
Is that March?
March, yeah. That's okay with everybody. I tentatively have lined up.
You have a phone.
I have a phone. He knows I have a phone. Nights, weekends, and that. I'm married to this thing that's on my hip constantly.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, thank you. I'll put this in here. Any board announcements at all?
What did happen to the meeting going on? Did nobody talk anybody in the legislature or what?
Yeah, we were introduced from both the House and the Senate, kind of what the Southwest does, and, several, went and had a picture made with, Senator West, and, had a big group of us, got a picture, if anybody wants to see it. Most of the other stuff I was in is, several of the mayors were there. That's the group. Yeah, I should have gone there for you, sorry.
It's okay. It's a good turnout.
Yeah, of course, I was staying for the other conference, so I drove down. I was gonna go down Tuesday evening because it started at 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning, but I had to get city council meeting on Tuesday night, so we didn't get out there till after 9. So that put me, I wouldn't go drive at night, so I kind of early Wednesday morning and drove down.
Good turnout.
Went around several state agencies, what was Department of Ag or
Commerce or whoever, what they do, and met with some of the employees of those agencies, and had a little reception that night. Schultz's.
Take where?
Schultz's. Schultz's. About where I used to work, for the state control's office, a long time ago.
Kurt got to sign the check here. I would read it. Is that it? No more announcements?
Anything else? Last meeting, you were bringing tickets for something.
That was the last meeting.
Oh.
That was 2 meetings ago.
Oh, okay.
I failed to bring- That's,
That event's already over.
that's done, and that's behind us. We're on bigger, better things now.
You're adjourning at what?
We're adjourning at 12:21.
All right.